March 1st deadline. Joining us now for a fair and balanced debate, Republican Congressman Mac Thornberry, who's the Vice Chair of the Armed Services Committee, and Intelligence Committee member, Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
Let's talk for a moment about what's at play. Many people are really worried about sequestration and the impact that this is going to have on the country. You have Leon Panetta saying if these cuts are implemented, it's going to really devastate our military. How do you feel about this, and can we find a middle ground here?
Yeah. Well, they should be worried, because not only does it cut readiness and training, but we learned this week that they're not going to send a second carrier to the Persian Gulf. So it's affecting the real-life military capabilities in dangerous parts of the world today. And absolutely we can find common ground. The House has passed bills last year to substitute other savings for sequestration. Bills have been introduced this week. One would delay the implementation of Obamacare for 2 years. The other one would reduce spending through attrition of federal employees. So none of those are too difficult to do, but they can prevent sequestration but still save money by cutting spending. And I think that's what your poll shows American people know needs to happen.
How concerned are you about this deadline that's looming? Many people are upset that we're even at this point. Why did we get to this point in the first place when the adjustment should have been made long ago?
Well, I am very concerned about it. I share the issues, the problems that Mac has raised with it. The cuts are indiscriminate. There are savings that we're going to have to find, but it can be done in a more sensible way. The sequestration cuts the good programs with the bad equally. Also, it will have a real dampening effect on the economy. It will cost us potentially 1 to 2 million jobs going with this swift kind of an austerity plan. So it has to be avoided, and I think we can find common ground. We have to find common ground. And what the President has proposed is a balanced effort to deal with this that includes tax reform at the same time. It includes additional spending cuts. Both are going to be necessary. And in fact, I think when this issue was put to the voters in the last election, they voted to have a balanced solution. We've achieved about $2 trillion in deficit reduction so far. We've got another $2 trillion to go. It's something that reasonable minds should be able to agree on. It won't be fun. It's much more fun when you're making new investments, but a reasonable mind should be able to get it done.
But here's the problem. So many Americans believe that Congress is so polarized right now that it's so difficult to make any headway at this moment because everybody's camped out, taking care of their own agendas. How do you get past that right now?
Well, we were able to get past it with an agreement on the fiscal cliff. Not everybody on Republican, not every Democrat supported it. But after a considerable amount of debate, there was an agreement, and in my view, taxes were decided. Now we've got to turn to spending. And as everybody acknowledges, we have a spending problem. And so to prevent these dire consequences that come with sequestration, economic as well as national security-wise, and domestic programs are cut too, we've got to cut other spending in a smart way. And there's just no reason we can't do that.
I've got to give you the last word here on the final seconds we have left. I mean, do we have a spending problem? Do you believe that that's definitely what's at play right now?
We're certainly going to have to reduce spending, and I think everyone agrees on that.
But why does the President say we don't have one?
Well, he doesn't say we don't have one. He says that we have to have a balanced solution, which not only includes spending cuts, but also includes tax reform. The first round of deficit reduction we did under the Budget Control Act was all spending cuts. The second round was revenue increases, and the third round, which we're facing right now, will have to be a combination of both. That's what the President's advocating, that's what the country wants, and that's where we're headed.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. Certainly an interesting debate that's on the table right now. We'll be watching that very closely.
Thank you.
Thank you.